morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. And ladies and gentlemen, they called it a border bill, but it doesn't help the border. Yes, that's right. The Senate has now released the language and the writings that are within their new quote-unquote border bill that they said is going to fix the border, but it does a heck of a lot more for Ukraine and Israel than it does for us. Yes, that is right. We got this story right here from Post Millennial. Breaking: Senate releases $118 billion plan for foreign aid and the border. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have $118 billion. Our nation is broke. What? More inflation for you guys. More inflation for me. Get ready. Y'all already can't afford milk. Next, I don't know what else. I mean, what else do you not want to be able to afford? Living? Breathing? I don't know, man. Let's get into it. Let's just get right into it. On Sunday, the United States Senate released its highly anticipated border deal legislation, which provides significant reforms that crack down on asylum and parole, according to Fox News. It doesn't. It doesn't. The deal includes supplementary spending that would give billions in foreign aid to Israel and Ukraine. Congress has been hashing out negotiations since December. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer stated that a vote on the package could occur as early as Wednesday. However, analysts claim that this $180 billion proposal will be difficult to receive support from the House. If it passes the House, we're screwed. We're screwed as a nation if it passes the House. This should not pass the House. This is the type of bill that there's Republicans in the House. There are Republicans in the House that should stand against this. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people in the House and the Senate are, neocons, libs. They're all part of the uniparty. Okay, but ultimately there's a small group of Republicans in the House and a small group of Republicans in the Senate that should stand against this. And in the House, that small group of Republicans has the ability to keep this from going through. They should. They don't always do. Let's continue. The Senate's National Security Supplemental Package would allocate $20 billion to address the historic border crisis. Wait till you hear how much Ukraine gets. Oh boy, this is fun. The border funds would be used to address existing operational needs and expand capabilities at our nation's border. The new border policies included in the package and help stop the flow of fentanyl and other narcotics. Guys, that is purposely vague. It is vague on purpose. Let's go back and look at this. Address the existing operational needs and expand capabilities at our nation's borders. What does that mean, bro? Oh, and by the way, this $20 billion right here was the exact amount of money that Donald Trump asked for when he said he wanted to build the wall. And you want to know what the media said? You want to know what the far left said? You want to know what the neocons, the uniparty said? What? We don't have $20 billion. Oh, but there it is. We found it. We are more in debt right now. Our country is more in debt right now than it was when Donald Trump was in office. We have higher inflation. The Fed is printing more money than ever. Our economy is in shambles. Oh, but we got $20 billion now for the border, but not back then? It's funny how that works, man. Oh, and by the way, now, not only are you going to pay $20 billion for the border, but you're also paying hundreds of billions of dollars every single year in your tax dollars to support the 6 million illegal immigrants that Joe Biden has brought across the border. We could have just had a wall, guys. We could have just paid the $20 billion up front and had the wall. But hey, Apparently it was racist. Apparently it was racist, even though Barack Obama is the one that built a pretty big portion of our border wall back when he was in office. But y'all don't want to talk about that, though. Nobody wants to talk about that. And then, of course, we've got good old Ukraine. Good old Ukraine. It's just the gift that keeps on, punching us in the face. The package also includes $60 billion for Ukraine in its ongoing war against Russia. By the way, Ukraine has already lost. They've already lost against Russia. All Russia wanted was a land bridge to Crimea so that they could have full access, 100% unmitigated access to their warm water ports in the Black Sea. That was the purpose for Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine. This is why he did this. Okay? Now, I'm not saying he was right in doing that, but what I am saying is that he already has everything that he set out to gain in this war. Everything. Everything that he set out to gain in this war, he has already achieved. Russia has already beaten Ukraine in this war. It is over. It's over. Yet we're going to continue to spend $60 billion. $60 billion. Then, of course, we have an additional $14 billion would be given to Israel to help with security assistance. Guys, we give billions of dollars every year to Israel. Billions. Already. This is another $14 billion on top of that, while our border's falling apart, our communities are falling apart. We got people in the streets that we can't afford milk, we can't afford eggs, we can't afford anything. Gen Z is literally living in boxes. Can't afford homes, can't afford an apartment, or at least a decent sized apartment. They can't afford it. Why? Why are we sending $14 billion to anybody except for the American people? Why? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Oh, but it gets worse. Furthermore, the package would give $10 billion in humanitarian assistance to provide food, water, shelter, medical care, and other essential services to civilians in Gaza and the West Bank, Ukraine, and other populations caught in conflict zones across the globe. Guys, come on. What about the humanitarian crisis here? Seeing as how that's your job, to take care of the American people first. To protect the American people first, to serve the American people first. That's your job. That's what we voted you into office for. I think the ultimate reality is that these people don't care. They care about what their handlers tell them to do. That's what they care about. Now, I just recently, you guys can go and find this video. I haven't pulled it up. But ultimately, I watched a video recently, and it was a live stream from James O'Keefe Media Group, and he was on the phone talking to George Santos, okay, the a member of the House that was recently kicked out because of some things that he had or had not done. He wasn't given due process. That's a longer story. But I want to talk specifically about what he said. He said that ultimately blackmail is used in the House and in the Senate, in all of Congress, basically. They use blackmail. They get some stuff, they get some dirt on you, they get some stuff on you, and then they go and they say, okay, we're going to hand you a piece of paper every single time we go in to vote. And they say that piece of paper is how you're going to vote. They say that it is a suggestion. George Santos explained that it's not a suggestion. It's not a suggestion. You will vote in this way. Now, Obviously, there are some members of Congress that are not controlled like this because you have people like Matt Gaetz who have regularly stepped out of the party line and voted against what the uniparty wants. So, obviously, not everybody is controlled, but guys, the overwhelming majority, I would say, of your Congress is not yours. It's controlled by the elites. This is why stuff like this continues to happen. $60 billion to Ukraine. Absolutely insane. Now, let's go ahead and actually get into a little bit of the meat and potatoes of this actual bill. We got this from Greg Price. Not only does this bill codify 1.5 million illegal border crossings into law, but the border emergency that automatically gets implemented at 5,000 crossings per day in a week can be overturned by Joe Biden. Let's pull it up here. Mandatory activation. The secretary shall activate the border emergency authority if, during a period of 7 consecutive calendar days, there is an average of 5,000 or more aliens who are encountered each day, or on any one calendar day, a combined total of 8,500 or more aliens are encountered. Now, for those of you who don't understand what that means, they can bring in 4,999 illegal aliens every single day, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They can legally bring in 4,999,000 illegal aliens every single day without having to put forward any kind of state of emergency or emergency authorization or anything like that. Basically, 5,000 people a day can come into the country illegally, and they won't do anything about it. Oh, but then, of course, you have this. In general, if the president finds that it is in the national interest to temporarily suspend the border emergency authority, the president may direct the secretary to suspend use of the border emergency authority on an emergency basis. In the case of a direction from the president under subparagraph. Yeah. So basically, you have this authority, this emergency authority, where if there are 5,000 illegal crossings every day for a 7-day period, then the president can say, okay, we're shutting down the border. Or he can continue to do what he has been doing and just suspend that emergency authority and basically say, oh, well, I suspended the emergency authority. Just keep them coming on in, 5,000 a day. 5,000 illegal crossings a day would now be legal under this bill. If you ever wondered if your representatives hate you or not, they hate you. They hate you, ultimately. Now, I wanted to give a little bit of comparison, okay, to Egypt. Yes, that's right, Egypt. You might be wondering why I'm bringing up Egypt. Well, that is because, according to Reuters, that amount withheld is a fraction of the $1.3 billion a year allocated to Egypt. Yes, that is coming directly out of your taxpayer dollars. We give $1.3 billion to Egypt every single year. Would you like to know what their border looks like? This is what their border looks like. This is what their border looks like. It looks like a freaking medieval wall around a city with just razor wire everywhere. It looks like everything America should be right now at our southern border. It looks amazing. And hey, you ought to know you built it. You ought to know you bought it. You paid for it with your taxpayer dollars. But meanwhile, on our southern border, what? You can't have a wall. That's racist. How dare you be racist? How dare you? These people, they're just asylum seekers. No, the majority of them are economic migrants. They're economic migrants, meaning they are not here because they are being persecuted by their government. They're not here because they're being persecuted by some group within their country. No, they are here because they just want better jobs. Now, that's fine. You can try your best to come here so that you can gain a better life. That's great. But we have a system for which you are supposed to do that. And ultimately, our own president is facilitating the human smuggling of illegal migrants into the country, and now he wants to make it legal for him to do so. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, this has to be a moment where the American people step in. The American people cannot look at this bill and sit on the sidelines. Ultimately, we need to contact our reps in the House. It's likely this is going to pass in the Senate because the Senate is controlled by the Democrats. The House is our only chance to stop this. We have got to contact our representatives in the House and say, this is unacceptable. We do not want this bill to pass. And ultimately, guys, if one or two people were to call and say, hey, I don't want this bill to pass for this reason, then they're probably not going to be too worried about it because it's only two people. But if 100 people call in one day talking about the same bill, well, that's a much bigger difference because it becomes very clear to these representatives, oh, crap, this is something that the people know about. And not only do they know about it, they're not happy about it. Guys, it makes a difference. It truly does make a difference. You don't think it does, but it does. Contact your reps. I believe there's a number that you can call. I'll try to find it and leave it down in the description. There's a number that you can call that you call directly to Congress, and they answer and they say, who is your representative or where do you live at? And you can literally tell them where you live in the country, and they will direct you directly to your representative in either the House or the Senate. Okay? I'll try to leave that number down in the description. Guys, this is a turning point, okay? They are trying to make illegal border crossings, 5,000 a day, legal. Mind you, we just had 6,000 border crossings a day during the month of December, and that was considered a record. Yeah, that was considered a record for our southern border. 6,000 a day in the month of December was considered a record. Now they want to make 5,000 a day legal. Guys, this is a problem, man. This is a problem. And ultimately, you can sit there and say, oh, well, they're not making it legal. They're just saying that, well, unless they go above that, then they can't implement this emergency. First of all, the emergency authority doesn't do anything because Biden's not going to implement it anyways. He's just going to stand it down. Like the bill said, he can just cancel that emergency authorization literally anytime he wants to. Okay, so the emergency authorization doesn't mean anything anyways. But you have the fact that Joe Biden's been bringing these people in anyways. This is literally just their attempt to say, oh, well, we haven't hit that 5,000 mark yet. That 5,000 a day mark in a 7-day period. We haven't hit it yet, so there's nothing. It's out of our hands. This is what they're doing. This is the games they play. And I think the American people need to stand up and say, okay, we're done with this. We're done. We're fed up. We're standing up. We're speaking up. And if y'all don't change this, there's going to be a reckoning. Now, of course, I'm not telling anyone to go and be violent. But there does need to be a reckoning. What that looks like, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what happens in the future. I'm not a fortune teller. But, guys, pray for our country. Pray for our families. Pray for our communities. Pray for our states. Pray for our representatives that they would make the right decision. And ultimately, we need to be working to be the best people that we can be every single day. Every single day. Because when you change the people, you change the culture. And when you change the culture, you change politics. All right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I will have another video coming for you most likely tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but most likely tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section, share the show with your friends, follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.